The New York Jets have a chance to hire the DeMeco Ryans of this coaching cycle. Who is it? Should they do it? Will they do it? Well, let's talk about it.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
You're fucking wrong!
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show available wherever you get your podcasts as well, if you prefer that version of the show. I am Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I am the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Now, the Jets are going to have a new head coach. That is not a matter of if, but a matter of who. Who will be the new head coach? And hopefully over a bunch of these Boy Green Dailies, and especially during the bye week, we'll get a chance to evaluate some of these options. And it hit me last night as I was watching Monday Night Football between the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. And I thought to myself, there's a guy, and that guy's name is Aaron Glenn. He is the Lions defensive coordinator. He's been the Lions defensive coordinator since 2021. And I will be honest, in my coaching cycle evaluation, he's not been high on my list. Bluntly, honestly, and candidly, he has not been high on my list. But as a Jets fan, I probably shouldn't overlook anybody, that we should evaluate every single possible option to make sure that we hire the right guy. And again, from the beginning, I've not been very high on this, but I had this thought last night while I was watching Monday Night Football, Cowboys-Texans. Is Aaron Glenn the DeMeco Ryans of this coaching cycle? Former players, both became defensive coordinators in 2021. Their resumes are quite similar. They both played in the league. DeMeco Ryans was a second-round draft choice, basically nearly a first-round draft choice. He was the first pick in the second round. He played for a long time, played 2006 to 2015. He played with the Texans. He got to come home, so to speak. His coaching career was actually very short. He started coaching in 2017, and then he was hired in 2023 as a head coach. Aaron Glenn, on the other hand, he had a little bit of a scouting background with the New York Jets in 2012-2013, then eventually jumped over to coaching in 2014-2015. So he's been coaching longer than DeMeco Ryans. He's been grinding. Also, he's an administrator. He's a general manager of the Houston Stallions back in 2012, too. So he's kind of had a lot of different roles, some front office roles, some scouting roles, some coaching roles, and a former first-round pick, of course, of the New York Jets. Yes, sir. He was a former first-round pick of the New York Jets, played from 94 to 2001. He was selected in the expansion draft, which took him away from the Jets and brought him to the Houston Texans. He was the third overall pick in the expansion draft, a very talented player, and a guy that, again, could he be the DeMeco Ryans of this cycle? There's a lot of connective tissue there. The Texans bring him back home. Jets could bring Aaron Glenn back home. Now, my big question with this and why Aaron Glenn hasn't been high on my list, is he's a defensive guy. Not to say there's anything wrong with defensive guys like Mike Vrabel we've talked a lot about, but, you just don't want another Robert Saleh situation. We've had a lot of defensive coaches for the Jets under Woody Johnson's ownership. I believe the only offensive one is Adam Gase. So I think if I had my druthers, I'd be hiring an offensive guy if it was up to me. Now we could go through the options and see who that is. Dakota's all about it. Hire Aaron Glenn immediately, ASAP, pronto. Ben saying this. Again, there would be a cool coming home element, which I think would be a great PR move for the Jets. By the way, let me flip the switch. We are 9 members away from Phil getting his emoji. You could join the Boy Green Coffee Club to help support this show if you enjoy the content. You can join the Boy Green Coffee Club in the floating comment there on YouTube. It's a pinned comment on YouTube.com. It's only $2.99 a month to help support the show. Become a member. That's also available in the YouTube description down below. But let's keep going through some of the comments here. But yes, Aaron Glenn. He is a guy. Some people want Ben Johnson, understandably so. But Aaron Glenn has been grinding. Like I said, he's been a general manager as an administrator in a developmental football league for the Houston Stallions. He's been a scout. He was a scout with the Jets for 2 years. He was an assistant DB coach with the Browns for 2 years. He was a DB coach straight up for 5 years, from 2016 through 2020 with the Saints, and then he became the Lions defensive coordinator, and the Lions have been doing work. And we've gotten to see a couple of behind-the-scenes moments with Aaron Glenn on Hard Knocks, which has been a lot of fun to see. Oh, baby, there you go. Boom, shaka, laka. Our number one Austrian Jet fan has closed the polls, baby. Phil has now unlocked his emoji. We love to see it. Thank you to our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, baby. Appreciate it. Here we go. All right, here it is, baby. Let me upload that to YouTube so you guys can use this new emoji. Phil has been one of the big supporters of the show. He doesn't call in, so you don't get to, see him in that light. But as I've said before, for everybody, not everybody calls into the show. Not everyone does, and that's okay. For people like calling into the show, that's great. But others support in different ways, and we appreciate that too. So shout out to Phil, who's been a great member of this channel, an Austrian Jets fan for delivering it. I've been a great supporter of this show. So let's upload this Phil emoji so you guys can see what it's all about here, baby. Let me see. Where can we put this puppy? Okay, let me take a gander here. Take a nice gander. We're going to put this emoji for our boy Phil. We have a lot of Phils, I just noticed. We have a lot of Phils, baby. Lot of Phils. Okay, let's do this. All right. Let's go. Phil. Let's put it right here. Let me see if we can get this. All right. All right. 1 second here. And then we'll reveal all the new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby, which have all joined the party as we continue. Now the next question is, the next question we have to do is we got to determine who is the next person that deserves an emoji, baby. That's the only way to do this. And yes, our new emoji is unlocked. Our new emoji is up. Let's put it right here. And folks, you guys can now utilize the emoji. If you, let me rename this one real quick to Phil. Yep. Booyah. Here we go, Phil. Let me put down Austrian's comment for just a moment. Phil, you have your own emoji now. Great supporter of the show, and it is now available for all of you. So feel free to enjoy it. And, of course, all those 10 new members of the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby, just got access to that as well. You guys can now use it. Awesome. So shout out to Phil, a great member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Now, let's get to those 10 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out again to our number one Austrian Jet fan, gifting 10 friggin' memberships, baby. Okay, love it. Party with Peg and Artie, Luis Rivas, Garrett Loescher, Mr. McMoney, Big Steve, Carlos Pacoya, King Saria, Rick, Beth Page Chris, Randy Martinez. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Beautiful. Thank you. And like I said, our now we have to determine who is the next deserving member that should be emojiized forever. I love that. Thank you, our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. You're the best. You're the best. Friggin' zoinks. All right, let's see some other comments here. Thank you, buddy. That's awesome. Dakota is on Glenn or Vrabel, no Gruden. That's fine. I know Gruden is a bit polarizing. But yeah, Vrabel would certainly clean up the BS. Dakota says Ben Johnson's not an option. I push back on that. Ben Johnson, you give Ben Johnson a crazy offer, he could be the guy. He could be the guy. And shout out to Phil. Emoji unlocked, baby. I love it. Shout out to Phil, baby. Pour one out. Emoji unlocked. Thank you kindly. All right, let me see here. Let me catch back up. Hep says he loves the way Glenn coaches. Yeah, Aaron Glenn, man. He's a really interesting cat. He's a little older, so like DeMeco Ryans, for instance, is only 40. He played more recently. Glenn's 52. I kind of like the older guys, to be honest with you. They have experience. They've been around the league. He was a player for a long time. Aaron Glenn played from 1994 to 2008. I mean, he was a long time NFLer, born and raised in Texas. Like, he went to college at Texas A&M, played for a long time, coached, managed, scouted. If you're going to make the pitch for Aaron Glenn, you're going to talk about the experience. You're going to talk about being a part of a winning organization here with the Lions. He's been part of that regime change over the last couple of years. He's done a few different opportunities where he's coached in a few different places. You got to love that too. You got to love that too. Oh, baby. Ed Vargas getting involved on the coffee club memberships, baby. Okie dokie. Oh, yeah, baby. Here we friggin' go. That's what I'm talking about, Ed. Okay, way to get involved. Here are the 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Jets, 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 Jets. I like the name creativity. NYJ Dave, Tyrone Garcia, Scott Campbell, Anthony Chacho. You are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Ed Vargas, baby. I love it. We're raining memberships right now. They're raining left and right. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. You guys get access to all those cool custom emojis. Snowball makes all of those. Plus, get access to the Discord channel, baby, where the party continues as we talk about all things football and well beyond. Okay. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Terrific. Great to see. Let's go down and see here. BG, do you really want to hire another coordinator? It's a good question, NC. To be honest, like I said, if it's up to me, I'm hiring. Well, here's the thing. My number one guy on my list is Todd Monken. Now, he's been a coordinator forever. He has been a head coach in college, Southern Miss. He turned around that program, but he's never been an NFL head coach. Now, there is intrigue to like a guy like Vrabel because there's no real mystery. He's a retread coach that had great success in Tennessee. He took them to the AFC Championship game. Like Vrabel is a former player too, sort of in the same waters as Glenn and DeMeco. He's a Super Bowl champion. A former player. He's had success as a coach. He's got kind of the right vibe, it seems like, that we're looking for, where we can bring in a guy that, again, no BS. He's a guy that's not going to play around. He's not going to I don't want to yell at the players. He will say what needs to be said. Now, his personality, a little rough around the edges, and it rubs people the wrong way. Again, I was born and raised, and I've said this, I've been very open about my life on this show. I was raised in a military family, and there was discipline. When mistakes happened, you got punished for them when I was growing up in my family. So, the whip was cracked, so to speak. Okay. And, while in the moment you're like, geez, this stinks. But like now that I'm older, I really appreciated the decisions my parents made about having a very strict household to make sure that we were in line. And people that have never experienced that life don't understand it. But I think discipline is important. It's important for, setting boundaries, laying down the line. There's a clear hierarchy of power, the leader, their decision-making, subordinates, and working together to find that end goal. So, do I really want to hire another coordinator? A guy like Todd Monken intrigues me because he has experience, and he's in his late 50s, and he's been around the block, and he's done a lot of things. And like I said, he's been a head coach once before. That was in college, though. So that would be part of the evaluation process. But I will be honest. Obviously, guys that have never done it before are kind of scary. Aaron Glenn has never been a head coach before. Ben Johnson has never been a head coach before. So there's some risk, obviously, when you go the coordinator route of the sexy new coordinator, like the offensive guy like Ben Johnson, or you just go with the coordinator in general. So it is a risk. Matthias. Vrabel has experience in a disciplinarian, and he has to have experience as a former head coach before I'm done with any first-time head coach for this debacle of a team. And I would totally understand that for what I just said. It's scary when they haven't done it before. Very scary. Phil says we need an established coach. An established coach would certainly help. Like I said, I just want everyone to really evaluate the landscape. Matthias actually good with Todd Monken. The offense, everything. He's never been, like I said, an NFL head coach before, but boy, his offense has worked in so many different places. He'd be high on my list. But Aaron Glenn is an interesting motivator. I'd like to know, same as I've said with Vrabel and a lot of these guys, who is his offensive hire? I imagine he knows a lot of talented people over there in Detroit. Ben Johnson wouldn't come over with him. Yeah, I don't anticipate him making a lateral move. If Ben Johnson leaves, it's going to be as head coach. Wrong verb. Belichick, Dable, Vrabel. How many New England Patriot guys do we have to have? I mean, Vrabel is one, but Dable and Belichick, I don't know about all that. We'll see if Dable survives or not with the Giants. He'd be an interesting OC hire depending on the right guy, but Belichick ain't coming here. And he says, we need someone to run the entire team. I agree. Yeah, we need someone that can have a vision is what's really important to me. That's what's really important to me, is having a vision of coming in here. And Jared B's been saying this one, and this one is sort of sexy. So you have this overseer or straight up as the general manager, John Dorsey. He's done it before. He's in Detroit in a senior executive position. And then Ben Johnson, and having kind of that combo power pull to do it. And I'm all for it. I'm ready to hand the keys to the franchise to somebody to have a vision and to clean this thing up, because what we've been doing hasn't been working. Phil says, Glenn was one of my favorite players, but as a first-time head coach, pass. And again, I understand that fear. Like I said, he's not even really high on my list, but I'm trying to be open. I am trying to be open to as many options as possible, because I don't want to be closed-minded. Like, I like Todd Monken. Vrabel's on my list. Ben Johnson's on my list. And I'm sure there's more the more we're going to have time, and that's all we have is time. To evaluate possible options. But those are my top three: Monken, Vrabel, and Ben Johnson in that order. Terrence says, just make sure the coach is older than Rodgers. Yes. That's a good one. That'd be good. I think that would help. Although, how old is Ben Johnson? Let me see him. That's the only thing I don't know. Is he late 30s, early 40s? What is he? 38. Oof, he'd be younger than Rodgers. Yeah, I wonder how he'd feel about a young whippersnapper. Although, like I said, I don't know if it's guaranteed that Aaron Rodgers is back. They might decide to do something else. Got a member super chat, a.k.a. member shout out. Every time we get a member shout out, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna. Wow. David D., appreciate you being a member for 2 months. Paul, hope all is well with you and the family. Yes, I am happy to report that no more breaks for me. I'm back, baby. All programming is back. We'll see if we have a Boy Green Meets Woody today. Woody's going through some stuff, unfortunately, so we'll see if we still have that afternoon show today. I'm available to do it if it can happen. If not, we'll be back on for Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning with Nick Faria. But yes, I'm happy to report I'm here. My beautiful fiance is here. My almost 3-year-old daughter is here, and my son, who's basically 2 or 3 weeks old, whatever it is now, because we're in the NICU, so I can't remember everything that's happened. Everything's been kind of a blur. So he's like 2 or 3 weeks old now, and it's just been wild. But I'm happy to report that everyone is home under the same roof, and we're all back together, which is what's most important. But it's just been a blessing. I'm pinching myself. But I love getting to do this show, and it helps support my family. So yeah, it's beautiful. But thank you, David, for that. That's amazing, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Jake Klein, DeMeco Ryans has a quarterback. Pointless to think we found our DeMeco Ryans. pointless to think we find our DeMeco Ryans. Maybe it is that simple, that DeMeco Ryans is only having success because he found the quarterback in the same year that he was the guy. Maybe. That's possible, I suppose. But DeMeco Ryans seems to be doing a lot of good things at defense. Mm-hmm. And he's a defensive guy too. So, like, it's not that you can only have success with offensive guys, but we've been kind of zigging forever in the Woody Johnson ownership since the year 2000. I'm pretty sure the only offensive coach we've ever had is old Adam Gase. And that went horribly, obviously. I didn't want that to happen. But, we've had a lot of defensive guys. I think a lot of us are open and probably pushing for a change to have an offensive guy at the top. So that I would understand. And then find your quarterback, obviously. John Sauer, really, reality is, who would even come here? I don't know, man. I think this is going to be in a very attractive job. We'll see. Again, I'm prognosticating. I don't know what the 7-8 jobs are going to be, but there's about 7 or 8 new jobs every year. Saints one is open right now. Jets one is open. The Jaguars one's going to be open. I don't know how attractive that is. You're tied to Trevor Lawrence, who's been awful, and his contract is crazy. So I'm kind of curious on that. Cowboys probably gets open. Giants might be open. Like, there's a bunch of jobs that could come open. I think the Jets are 1 of 32. That's attractive. And then in general, like, you have all this talent. Sauce, Brees, Garrett, Jermaine. I mean, go through the list. I've got Michael Carter II. Like, there's a bunch of guys on this. So, yeah, man. I think it's going to be attractive. But we can, once all the jobs are out there, we can evaluate it properly. It's going to take time. NC, it seems like it may take time to hire a GM, so who knows how many coaching possibilities will be left. NC, it's important to note the NFL made a change that teams can't hire coaches in like 5 seconds. So you have to stretch it out. You have to wait for playoff games if coaches are involved in that. So, like, this coaching cycle is going to take a lot of time. Unless you hire like a Harbaugh who's not in the NFL world, he's in the college world, you could just hire him basically very quickly. But outside of that, if the guy you're seeking is currently in the NFL, there's an entire process. There's the Rooney Rule. There's the weeks that it forces you out. So these hires are dipping into February. We should have plenty of time for all decisions. I would probably hire the GM first, / as we talked about on the show yesterday, Director of Football Ops, GM. I'd hire them probably first, and then they get to pick their head coach. That's probably how I would do it. Jay Klein, CBS reported Johnson isn't coming to an unstable franchise. We'll see what happens. Money talks, power talks. CBS, ESPN, whoever wants to report things, that's not absolute. Maybe Ben Johnson doesn't come here. We'll see. But again, people reported and pounded the table that Robert Saleh wouldn't come here. He was one of, if not the most attractive coaches in that cycle. And people said, he would never come to the Jets. Guess what? He came to the Jets. So people report things all the time. Let's see what happens. Hey, BoardBet 31, welcome to the club, baby. 31, thanks for jumping in the YouTube membership train, baby. Welcome back. It's great to have you. Welcome to the show, baby. We love it. Boom shakalaka. Love it. There we go, BoardFat 31. Excellent. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Matthias, you're correct, Paul, with DeMeco Ryans and the quarterback. That's why we need an experienced head coach in the Jets organization. Again, why I am open to drafting a quarterback in the first round. When you get it right, the rest of everything looks pretty good. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders is what Dakota wants. Again, I haven't really dove into the quarterbacks yet. I just saw the NFL Stock Exchange podcast has a quarterback episode, like finding quarterbacks for all these teams, including the Jets. So I'll have to listen to that to see who they pick there. Danny, in real life, if it's not the Jets, I think Aaron Glenn goes to the Saints. It may be a better fit for him there if Jets want to keep Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Glenn was coaching with the Saints, wasn't he? Yeah, so he was there from 2016 to 2020. That'd be a fun one. That'd be good for Aaron. I hope Aaron gets an opportunity, whether it's with the Jets or anybody else. Aaron's good people. So I hope so. We'll see. Again, I think there is an allure to the coming home because that, from a PR perspective, I assume would be well received. Now, there are going to be some that just go like, very caveman defense. No good hire. Caveman, no good hire. There's defense. We want offense. Maybe we get a little bit of that caveman stuff from some people. Although, again, to me, I'm part of that caveman group because, I kind of want offense. And I know that there are good defensive coaches in the NFL, obviously. I mean, look at the 32 jobs. There are plenty of really, really good guys that are defensive guys that are great head coaches. So, but I just think Jet fans have been beaten down for so long with these defensive guys that we want an offensive guy. And if it fails, so be it. But, let's get Dakota says, why the Jets ever hired Gase is beyond me. Yeah, when your division rival fires him and you're like, oh, we're smarter than them, and we pick him up. And I will tell you, check the tape, people. Okay. Sometimes people say, well, I would have taken Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, sure you would have, pal. But you can check this tape because it's real. When the Jets fired Todd Bowles, I came on and did an audio show back in those days. And I said, please, Jets, you can hire whoever the hell you want. Just don't hire one name. One name that scared me. Adam Gase. And of course, that's exactly who they hired, which made me feel terrible. And everything else, you're like, disgusting. Just disgusting. So it's tough. And she says, we have to hire GMers. That would take time, maybe a lot of time. Maybe not. We'll see. Joe Douglas was weird because you allowed Mike McCagnon to do the draft and free agency and then hired a guy after. So we'll see. I don't know if what's ever going to sell. So we may have to wait for that one, Jake, I'm afraid. We'll open up the phone lines here in a moment, but I just want to catch up on all these comments. FL Phil 98, exactly. Who knew Mike Tomlin was going to be Mike Tomlin? That's a great point. Yeah, sure. And look what he's done. I mean, a winning season every year, and look at this awesome season he's having now. Even when you doubted him most, look what happened. Hennessy Heisman, who will be the GM? That's most important. Again, there's a couple of guys out there. I've heard the Spy Tech guy in Tampa Bay has garnered some interest. I'm a Will McClay guy from the Dallas Cowboys. They've done an awesome job with their drafts. Let me think of who else. We got Will McClay. We got Spy Tech. We got the guy from Kansas City, the Chiefs front office. Let me I think he's the assistant GM. Let me see the Chiefs front office. Once I see the name, I'll be able to tell you. Clark Hunt. Okay. Mark Donovan, Brett Veach. Okay. Where's the guy? I've seen his name before. There he is. Mike Borgonzi. He's the assistant general manager. That's another name to keep an eye out for. So there's Spy Tech. He's the right-hand man to Jason Light down in Tampa Bay. There's Mike Borgonzi. He's the assistant GM looking for his own opportunity. He's a guy to keep an eye out for. John Dorsey, someone Jared B. has argued and fought for. He's a former general manager. He's done it in a lot of different places. He'd be on the list. So those are some of the guys. Obviously, it's easier to know a lot of the coaches because they're in our face. We're seeing them on sidelines or this, that, or the other. It's a little more difficult for fans to kind of understand the GM pool, but those are some names, I would say. Hennessy says we won't draft high enough for a quarterback. Well, we're 7 right now, and how many more games are we winning? I mean, if we're being honest, I don't know. Let's pull up the schedule. So we're in the bye right now. I think we'll win the bye, but probably not. All right, we've got Seattle, who's in first place or battling for first place in the NFC West, and they play Arizona this week, so that's tough. Miami looks back. That's tough. Jacksonville sucks, but we suck. I mean, who am I? And that's on the road. The Miami one's on the road too. You play the Rams. Oh boy, that could be a problem. Buffalo, that could be a problem. I see maybe one win on the schedule, man, and it's the Jaguars. Miami looks awesome, and they've had our number. Seattle is a little Jekyll and Hyde, so maybe you could get them, and you're playing them at home. West Coast team coming East Coast. But the Rams look really good. I don't know, man. I don't know where it is. Jaguars, maybe, and then you're a 4-win team. I just don't see it. I wish I could be more positive, but it is what it is, man. So if we're swimming in the 4-win waters, we're a top 10 pick team. But if they stay at the 3-win, they might have a chance to be top 5. So that's probably the conversation, I guess. Dakota is all for Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, or Quentin Ewers. I haven't heard Quentin Ewers. I haven't heard a lot of that hype. Okay. The Texas kid. All right. He's a fun kid. I'll keep an eye on that one. Sparks jumps in on Twitter. I think we need to rebuild that offensive line, especially if we're keeping Aaron Rodgers. When Peyton Manning and the Broncos won the championship, an indestructible offensive line. To me, I think we have the offensive line, the starting offensive line on Sunday, where you had Olu Fashanu at left tackle. Love that. John Simpson's been one of the best offensive linemen in football this year. So shout out to the John Simpson signing. A lot of people LOL'd that signing. John Simpson's been friggin' awesome this year. Joe Tittman has bounced back. We haven't heard any of the yips from the snapping. ABT, hopefully staying healthy. He's pretty good. And you got Morgan Moses. Now, Morgan Moses is a pending free agent, but the rest of the line is intact. And Morgan loves the Jets, so he would come back. So I like that starting 5. Let's just keep them healthy. I think that's the key, Sparks. So whether you have Aaron Rodgers or any young quarterback back there, you need a good offensive line. Yeah. Hennessy Heisman. No one knows shit. We need luck on our side. Damn straight we do. You know, people like to the Patrick Mahomes point where people made fun of that. You know, you never know till you know, I guess. Johnny Boy, am I the only one that does not want to draft a quarterback? No, there's plenty of people that don't want to draft a quarterback. But I also said it earlier, but I want to repeat it, and I'll probably have to repeat it the entire offseason and season. I don't want to just draft a quarterback no matter where we are. If we're at 10, 11, 12, 8, I don't want to draft a quarterback automatically no matter what. I think pigeonholing yourself is the worst thing you can do. However, if this new front office regime that's taken over sees a quarterback they likey, take him, for Pete's sake. Quarterback's the most important position in football. Swing the friggin' baseball bat every gosh darn year, man. And he says, watch us win 7 games. Maybe we will, I guess, but it doesn't feel that way. Jalen Milrose, another one. I didn't mention him. Yeah, but if this regime likes a quarterback, take him. Take a quarterback every year, for God's sakes. Now, someone said, let me pull up that comment. I just want to pull that up real quick. John Sauer says it's not a great quarterback class. You want to know something, John? Everyone said the 2021 quarterback class was great. That's what people said. Trevor Lawrence stinks. He's overrated. Zach Wilson sucks. Trey Lance sucks. Justin Fields sucks. I mean, Mac Jones sucks. I mean, go through the list of guys. They all suck or are overrated, like Trevor Lawrence. Like, we all said that was a great quarterback class, and it didn't work out. So people saying this isn't a great quarterback class makes me want to be in on this quarterback class because back to Hennessy Heisman's point that I'll crochet in a pillow, no one knows shit. So I don't know, man. I'm all for making some QB moves, making some moves. Hennessy says, I wish we could see Jordan Travis this year. I mean, I'd like to see what the kid has, but, you know, who knows? Why not give Tyrod Taylor a shot? Well, he's under contract for next year, so he'll probably be our bridge quarterback if we move on from Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, he's going to have some ops. He will have some ops for sure. We'll see. All right, let's do this. Let's play a quick HEP song. We'll open up the phone lines next. You guys can call in and share your thoughts. Are you an Aaron Glenn guy? You want to draft a quarterback? Do you want to sign a quarterback? Or what the hell are we doing? We can all commiserate together and try to figure it out. Let's get together. HEP pulls out the nice concert here. Let's roll. We'll be right back.
Boy green daily, boy green daily, boy green daily. Talking just football, man. Boy green daily, boy green daily, boy green daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. What the offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. Jets, Jets, Jets.
Ah, that song always puts me in a better mood, baby. The phone lines are now open. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. That's a pinned comment on YouTube. If you'd like to call into the show, that is the way to do so. If you're enjoying the show, we got 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. If you guys are watching the show on Facebook or Twitter, hop on over to YouTube and you could call into the show and share some of your thoughts on what the hell is going on with our New York Jets. Paul or Jared B says, Paul, we need some hep shirts, hepatitis shirts. I'll let him know and see what he thinks about that. I will let him know what he thinks about that. All right, we got plenty of callers here. Let's jump on over. We got Johnny Boy here on the show first. What's up, Johnny?
BG, what's going on, bro? How you holding
hey,
up, man?
Hey, good to see you, pal.
You too, man. Family good?
Yeah, everyone's healthy. God
Hell
bless.
Yeah. Bro, I first and foremost was tough, man. I didn't want to call in because that damn game was. I mean, we knew what was gonna happen, right? But
yeah, I guess we should have. But in the moment, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna win this. Okay, the elite defense is gonna stop Anthony Richardson, and that did not happen. No, that did not happen.
Yeah, the Aaron Glenn situation. I don't know, man. I've been kind of like pounding the table for a Brian Flores type of individual. Like, I would love to have that person. I mean, look at the last 2 seasons in Miami, what he had, I think 10 and something.
Yeah,
and then like 9 and something as well, and called out like Tua. People say, oh, you don't want that, but I think that's what's needed, especially in New York, man. He's a Brooklyn kid.
That's true.
Right? I mean,
coming home story there. All right.
He knows the market really well. He has that assholeness that I believe you need to be in New York.
Yeah, here are his records. He was a head coach for 3 years. So his first year sucked. He was 5-11, and then he was 10-6 and 9-8. So he's 24-25 as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, and then I think the offensive coordinator is going to be something huge. I mean, I would love to see if whatever happens with the Giants and Daboll is gone and bringing him over. I mean, bro, what a dream team at that point. And then the other stuff with the Curtis Martin thing to me is very interesting.
Yeah,
because I don't know too much about it, right? So like, what would he be able to attract? What would he be able to do? I mean, kind of what like Hennessy Heisman said, we don't know shit. It is the truest thing that I think anybody's ever put up there because it's the truth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's going to be running the team? There's just so many unknowns right now that it's insane. The fact that we have 25 free agents, I think you said, this upcoming season.
That's right. Yeah. 25 free agents that are restricted or unrestricted. Plus, there's going to be guys like, spoiler alert, Michael Clemens' ass is getting cut, and he's not a free agent. So there's a grouping that are going to be free agents, and we'll see what happens with them. And then there's another group that are just like on the bubble that could just be cut like Clemens. So, there's going to be a ton of turnover. You said it a couple weeks ago. It's true.
And then the other thing for me, too, with the draft coming up, I would want us to draft, like, trade back with somebody that's trying to trade up so we could get some capital all that, man. I want some, like, huge freaking fatties, bro, like, on the line on both sides, because we don't even know if Morgan Moses is going to be back. What if he goes after the season and he gets his surgery done that's going to have him sidelined for a while? And because with the meniscus stuff and everything, et cetera, et cetera.
He's going through it, man. He's a warrior, so salute to Morgan, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for Morgan to be back, but again, that's a big hole on the line, right? You would say, I think, with that right tackle being there, and then if we changed, I don't know, man. Again, there's just so many holes, bro. Like, there's just so much unknowns, again, coming up with this season, but we're here, bro. We'll still rock with you, man. You already know it. You know what time it is. Let's go Jets. And we're not going to lose this weekend, so it feels great.
That's right. For the first time in a while, we could call that a guarantee, Johnny. I appreciate that. By the way, the Meadowline Swap thing says, is there a limit to how much you can pay a coach? No. There was no salary cap for coaches. So Woody Johnson could pay whatever this next coach is, whatever they want, which is why I say when people go, why would Ben Johnson ever come here? Woody Johnson gives you a blank check and gives you unlimited power. I don't know what's going to happen, but and again, I'm not saying Ben Johnson's my guy. I gave my top 3 already. It's at this current moment of time, November 19th. It is Todd Monken. It is Mike Vrabel. It is Ben Johnson. And there is interpretation to be had there. New coaches could enter the mix. I'm like, you know what? Let me give that a reconsideration. But that's why when people just blanket statement and say, insert coach would never come here. Okay. A bag of money might say something. Now, maybe Ben Johnson just goes I would never, for instance, Bill Belichick's never coming here. So the people that keep bringing that one up, he ain't coming here. But for instance, right, no matter what amount of money Woody Johnson offered Bill Belichick, he wouldn't come here. So money isn't everything. But a lot of people are motivated by money. Like Juan Soto, right? All you baseball fans, we've got a lot of Met fans that watch this show and Yankees fans. Juan Soto, while the body wasn't even cold yet, said, I am open to all 30 teams. Basically, the highest bidder is getting me, baby. There are a lot of people that are motivated by money. No shame in that. Hey, man, I won't talk about another man's money. You want a bag, go get it if you can. But I'm telling you, a lot of people are motivated by that bag of moolah, which could motivate a lot of people to come over here. Which could mean, hey, Ben Johnson, here's a bag, or whoever. Let's see. Let's see who is coming. It should be an interesting offseason, to say the least. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Bubba Badshaw here on the program. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? It's a foggy day here in Arkansas.
It looks like it. I like the shades, though. It's a good look.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, so as for the head coach, I was going to ask you, just in your opinion,
sure,
who's the best coach in the league right now, in your opinion?
Head coach you're talking about?
Yes. I'm not saying who we would get. I'm just in general, because I kind of feel like Mike Tomlin's that
was my answer.
An obvious answer, but he's done a lot with a team that, do they really think they'd be doing better than Baltimore? I don't know if they thought they'd be doing better than any of the teams in their conference, maybe the Browns, but
yeah. Yeah, the answer to me, again, if you would have just said, who's the best coach, and then you stopped talking, I would have said Mike Tomlin. Because Mike Tomlin, he won a Super Bowl, and the criticism of him early was he just won a Super Bowl off of Bill Cowher's teams. That's what people said way back in the day.
Yes.
And he has had a winning season every year, and guess what? He's going to have another one this year. And he has done it with so many iterations. He did it with Big Ben Roethlisberger in his prime. He did it with old man Big Ben Roethlisberger. He did it with some guy named Duck Hodges. Google that one, kids, if you don't remember that guy. Duck Hodges at one time was the Steelers quarterback, and they still won when they had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and all these random dudes. So he is just a guy that, when you look at the old Mike Tomlin story, he is a disciplinarian. Obviously, he marches to the beat of his own drum a bit there, does Mike Tomlin. He's a 52-year-old that was born in Virginia, and he's had experience on both sides of the ball, but most people know him as a defensive guy. He started out in his coaching career actually as a wide receivers coach, and he did that for his couple of years, including Arkansas State wide receiver coach back in 1997, for people that forget that. And then he was the DB coach the next year for Arkansas State. And then he was all defense for the rest of his time until he became head coach. So obviously, defensive coaches can have great success. I think the best coach in the league, and he should be coach of the year this year, is Mike Tomlin. Look at the quarterback situation. Look at just having the right temperature of things were going great with Justin Fields. And right before the Jets game, he switches. 100%. Those are massive balls. I haven't seen Mike Tomlin's balls, but I would imagine they're gargantuan in size. Look at this guy. To make that decision, to have that flip, and people were making fun of him like me. I'm like, oh my God, what an idiot. Look at this. And then his wide receiver accidentally reveals it's Russell Wilson. Ha, ha, ha. Look at the Steelers. And then they beat our ass. They've beaten everybody's ass. They just beat the Baltimore Ravens. Unbelievable. So, yeah, Tomlin would be the guy. And I don't know if there's a follow-up question to this, but just I think that should remind all of us that as much as a lot of us are like offense or defense or special teams, right? Harbaugh in Baltimore land is a former special teams coordinator. No matter what waters you swim in, there is success literally. There is offensive success. Obviously, look at all the Sean McVays of the world. There's Mike Tomlins, who are defender successes. There's Harbaugh's special team successes. So just because you are on one side of the ball or the other doesn't guarantee that you suck or are great as a head coach. So we should kind of remind ourselves of that as we're going through the coaching carousel.
Well, and one other thing I wanted to point out about Mike Tomlin was, I'm sure you remember this in the game. You know, there was a play where Rodgers, I think there was 12 men on the field on the defense, and he kind of, you know, he called a timeout, and Rodgers looked to the sideline, and he was like, it's almost like he was like bowed up flexing at Rodgers, and I'm like, that is badass. Like, and if I'm a player on the sidelines, and I see my coach doing shit like that, hell, I want to bow my chest out. I want to go out there. I mean, I want to play for that guy. I mean, that was damn near having a 12th player right there. I mean, just the little things like that, and just his attitude about how he goes and does things. But I know that Pittsburgh would be crazy to ever let him leave. I mean, that's who I would love to see. But,
for sure,
you know, I kind of, a realistic standpoint, I'm kind of with Jared B on the whole John Dorsey, that whole situation. I kind of agree.
Ben Johnson. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But as for quarterback,
I
mean, I saw some little clip from ESPN last week that was like, Rodgers says he's going to play in 2025. And it was like, his quote was like, yeah, I might, or something like that. I mean, it
was
like
100%. Right. To me, it was a walk back because Rodgers, you know, I don't see this as a 1-year thing. And he said from the very beginning, right, multiple years. Then he gets hurt, and then this year sucks. And then he's asked, hey, are you coming back? He's like, yeah, I think so. Like, that didn't sound emphatic. Like, if my fiance says, hey, do you want to go to the grocery store? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Like, she's not like, oh, I want you to want to go to the grocery store. So it's a whole friggin' hoopla. Like, that was not – so, like, people – like, over this – I tweeted this out, but over a span of 24 hours, it happened over the weekend. I got a Bleacher Report notification that said Aaron Rodgers is back 100%, baby. And I'm like, oh, great. And then 5 minutes later, Aaron Rodgers is he could not come back. There was a chance he just walked away. I'm like, what? Like, and it happened within a span of like 2 hours. I'm like, Bleacher Report, what the hell's going on? What is the truth here? So, yeah, we don't know. We don't.
And I would kind of be open to, like, I don't know how you feel about Baker Mayfield coming over.
Yeah,
I
love Tampa. Baker. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if Tampa would. I don't know what their situation is with him, but man, him come back, sport that Mark Sanchez 6, be the next quarterback to take us to the playoffs.
Okay.
But
all right.
Anyway, I'll let you get to other callers, but thanks for taking my call, Paul.
Of course, Badshaw. I appreciate you. I think Baker's on a contract for a few years, but here's a sneaky one no one's been talking about. If the Jets want to try to contend immediately, a name that I haven't heard anyone say, Matthew Stafford. He is a guy that the Rams and Stafford rework his contract, so there's no guarantees after this year. So it's kind of like an option. They're both going to come to the table and decide what to do. So he could just return. That's possible. But Matthew Stafford might be the sneaky name that no one's talking about. You talk about all the quarterbacks, right? Derek Carr could be cut. Daniel Jones is going to get cut. The two true free agents are supposed to be Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. I'm going to be honest. Obviously, that's not incredibly attractive. But Stafford could be kind of interesting. And imagine that. You get Ben Johnson, you pair him with Matthew Stafford, two old Lions guys getting back together. That could be kind of fun. So that could be an interesting quarterback option for the now. So that could be kind of interesting. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got our guy Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. What's the coach of the Lions again? What's his name?
The one everyone wants you're talking about?
No, the head coach.
Oh, Dan Campbell. Yeah, Dan
Campbell. I saw an interview with him, and he was talking about Aaron Glenn, and he's saying the way he coaches is his strong point is he goes for the matchups. You know, that's his thing. You know, he says, okay, what's our strength to their weakness, and let's apply that pressure. And I like that whole concept of the chess match. You know, that kind of a coach. As opposed to the rah guys, you're great. Yeah. You know, here's a lollipop. Right. You know, the other thing is they said, well, possibly a person they would bring over for an offensive coordinator would be the passing coordinator for the Lions.
Ooh, let me look that up. Let me see who that is. The name's not ringing any bells immediately here.
Yeah, me either.
It's got Lions coaching staff. All right. Because that's always what I'm looking for. Like, who else could who could the guy be? And the exciting thing about Aaron Glenn coming over, I'm like, ooh, who would be the guy coming over? So pass game, Tanner Engstrad is whoever that is. Apparently, is the pass game coordinator for the Lions.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. This is what I heard. But Campbell is definitely high on Glenn. It'd be interesting to see Glenn come in and Pete Carroll be the head of football operations. It'd be like a whole time reunion, you know.
That would be cool. And to be honest, Aaron Glenn plucking fruit, because that's normally what happens, right? When a coach leaves a place, like obviously Saleh and the 49ers, right, where he gets the little LaFleur brother, or whatever. They bring people from where they came from. So like plucking any fruit from the Detroit Lions tree sounds good with me because they've looked awesome. So it's a copycat league. If Aaron Glenn comes over and he brings in somebody, also the quarterback coach over there is Mark Brunell, former Jets quarterback great. Whoever else they want to bring from over there to help this train is something I'd be totally for with all the success they've had.
Thanks, Paul. Peace out, everyone.
Appreciate you, Hep. There we go. Hep, baby. Interesting. Yeah, because, like, again, that's a big question with Glenn or Vrabel or really any of these defensive guys. Because the offensive guys, it's self-explanatory, right? If Todd Monken comes, he's the play caller. If Ben Johnson comes, he's the play caller. And Ben Johnson has already said if and when he becomes head coach, he wants to remain the play caller. So that part's important. But, like, if an Aaron Glenn comes over, who's the offensive guy? If he plucks from the Lions offensive staff, that would be super fun. Great. Awesome. That's something I'm for. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We've got Tony Alexio here on the show. What's up, Tony?
Yeah, good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
I'm in total agreement with your coaching selection.
Oh,
it's
really, thank you.
Really good. And yesterday when I called in, I talked about the team president, and someone was listening because now we're hearing about Curtis Martin. Because we were hearing about the Curtis Martin. I heard a report on it. With other channels that he was being mentioned to be team president, because the fact is our team president, the only thing he does is the sales, raising the prices, raising the top, parking lot prices, raising the hot dog prices,
right?
But nothing for football operations,
right?
You know. And speaking about the staffing thing, I can't believe that out of our hierarchy. Last year, off season, Chad Alexander, he went over to
the Chargers,
Los Angeles with Harbaugh, and Chad Alexander was like JD's right hand man as assistant GM, and they were like the worst of the worst last year. And now they're a playoff contender.
Yeah, go figure.
Year, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to be banging at the Chiefs store as soon as the football season get their assistant GM, get a proven winning organization, get him as the assistant as our GM to turn the ship around, let him select the coach, because like we always do things backwards here. We get our coach first, and we just do things the wrong way. We got to get. We have to get this hierarchy in place with the team president and the GM. I mean, and turn the ship around and get it sailing and get to where we need to get to. I mean, it's like really unbelievable. I was crying for Monken, like before we brought in this proven loser Hackett. I mean. And we got to take, and the GM's first task was to take the keys of Jetsville away from Rodgers. You know, that would be the first priority. You're not running the show here no more. It's my ship to sail. And if you're going to be here, you're going to do it my way or get out. I was hoping that maybe we could do something like not the backup quarterback, but if Jordan Travis isn't physical enough, put in Adrian Martinez to hurt Rodgers' pride, and hopefully that he'll be his ego will be so shattered that he'll retire. We will owe all this dead cap money and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
but yeah. Go ahead. I made my points, and thanks for having me on. You know.
Of course, Tony. I appreciate the call as always. Here's the unfortunate reality, Jet fans. Here's the unfortunate reality. If Aaron Rodgers retires, the dead money's still coming. So really, regardless of what happens, the Jets are going to get hit from a financial perspective with this Aaron Rodgers thing. So even if he retires, you're going to have to eat some dead money. That's just the nature of the beast. By the way, Phil becoming a member here on the Boy Green Coffee Club. Welcome. And everybody throw up those Phil emojis, baby. Boom, 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 boom for old Phil. Appreciate him joining the Army. It means a lot. Helps support the show. Appreciate you, Phil. God bless, brother. Welcome. Welcome. Appreciate you. Throw up the love. So, and as my Holy King says, maybe the right decision for the Jets is the uncomfortable decision, and it is what my Holy King says. Eat the dead money. Like, for instance, look at the Denver Broncos. They ate the dead money on Russell Wilson, and they blew up that machine, and they just ate it. They just took it right on the chin and said, well, this is happening, baby. Boom. They ate it. Now they got the quarterback decision right. Again, I was dead wrong on Bo Nix, so I apologize to the Bo Nix Broncos people. I was dead wrong. He looks awesome this year, and maybe rookie of the year. Maybe we were too early on Jay Daniels. He's all banged up and hurt. So shout out to the Broncos, but they took it on the chin, and then they powered forward. Maybe the Jets need to do that. Hey now, more memberships raining from the high heavens, baby. BoardFab31 gifting 10 Boy Green Coffee Club friggin' memberships. Let's friggin' go, baby. All righty, BoardFab31, appreciate your gifting at this time of year. It is the holiday season, after all. Friggin' beautiful. We love to see it. We'll get those new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club and scream those into the ethos for all of you here in just a few minutes. But I do just want to say this, baby, that this army is coming. This army of Boy Green Coffee Club members, we're taking over the universe. We have been raining memberships all day today. Here are the members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. We have Swampni Patel, MJ Dunn, Sean Wilson. It jumped here. We have Monkey Man Stan, KJH, Mr. Excessive Tackle, Rasta Dread 305, Rowan Marshall, Kevin Clark, and Thomas Hibbert. You are all now members to the Boy Green Friggin' Coffee Club. And Jared B dropped the Discord link that you guys can click and join. Again, that's part of your perk. Shout out to BoardFat31 and everyone that's been gifting memberships today. That is your perk of being a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, is you get access to our Discord channel, baby. And feel free to jump on the train. Thank you, BoardFat31, for making it rain, baby. And Phil, I apologize that you guys can't gift memberships from the iPhone. I wish I could figure that out. I've talked to YouTube about it, but they haven't given me a lot of answers on that, unfortunately. I apologize. Philly Noodle says, Rex Ryan as a president of football operations. Well, the good thing about Rex is he cares. And I'd love to have him a part of the organization in some sort of consultant role because, you know, he bleeds and dies for this team and he speaks for the fans. Now, him actually having a role on this team outside of defensive coordinator and have to be the right head coach, as we've talked about, I'm not sure if that's realistic, but I like it. Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. We got our resident OC, Easy, here on the program. What's up, Easy?
No new quarterbacks. Do not draft a quarterback. I don't give a crap what we do. Do not draft a quarterback. The failure rate of first round quarterbacks is astronomical. Everyone thought Trevor Lawrence was a no fail quarterback. He's terrible. He's terrible. Look at the quarterbacks that get drafted. They all struggle. They all suck. So who cares? I want, like you said, Matt Stafford. Good idea. I'll even take Justin Fields because at least you know what you got. And then I would take that first round pick and I would parlay it, and I would use my damn picks to trade for an offensive line coach and a defensive back coach at this point. I mean, for shizzle. I mean, that's what we need. Damn.
Well, easy. The only pushback I would say is if you look at some of the top teams in the league, they invested a first-round pick into a quarterback. Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, Now, the Lions didn't invest this first-round pick at Jared Goff, but he was a first-round pick, and he took the Rams to the Super Bowl. Now he's taking the Lions' places, too. That's a
I don't
first-round
say
quarterback.
I didn't say we don't get a first-round quarterback. I say we get a veteran first-round quarterback. Okay? I don't want to pick one out of the pile of college players who have no idea how good these NFL scrubs are. The worst guy in the NFL is better than anybody that they've ever faced on a college team. Remember that. There are what 20? I'm just listen. Okay. How many guys picked at quarterback completely fail? I mean, just fail. Don't even see the field. And then out of the ones that do see the field, how long does it take for them to finally develop? Look at Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. And Zach Wilson, who knows? Maybe Zach Wilson will come back in 2 years and be a stud. Who the hell knows? The kid's got the tools. He just don't have the bean yet. But, the maturity comes with age. But, I mean, do not waste a valuable first-round pick on an unproven quarterback coming from college. I just don't believe in that. Bill Parcells said he would never pick a quarterback from college unless he played all 4 or all 5 years. He would never take an underclassman quarterback. You're going to go against Bill Parcells? Well, hell no.
No, I guess not.
Parcells said never take an underclassman quarterback ever. They're just not mentally and physically prepared to go up against these grown men who have wives and families and children who are playing this game for blood, guts, veins in their teeth, and money. Lots and lots of money. And nobody wants to be in a team with some kid quarterback who just got done from the frat house playing freaking beer pong. They just don't want these kids. I'm serious. No veteran player wants these guys.
Like, it doesn't matter. Was great in the first year, and now he's been bad this year. But, he was good in the first year. And when you spend on a veteran quarterback that you're talking about, one that's proven, you have to just pay a lot more money, and that changes your roster construction. Jaden Daniels, that's another good one that Phil just mentioned there.
Yeah, well, they are few and far between. The percentages of failures are way higher than the percentages of success.
That makes it hard and difficult to find, but that seems to be the best success rate.
There are a lot of good NFL quarterbacks who just haven't really gotten a chance, but have been in the league for a while and would be adequate to put on this team while we build it. And then when we draft a young quarterback, we can train him like we got Jordan Travis. Who knows what we got with him? We don't even know if his leg is we don't even know if he's physically cleared to play or if he'll ever be physically cleared to play. But we got him. We redshirted him, which was the bright move. He sits in the classes. He's studying. He's learning. So that when he finally does go out in that field, maybe sometime next season or in spring training, training camp was my baseball.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is for like GM, why don't we get the football equivalent to Billy Beane?
Who's that?
He was the guy. Didn't you ever watch Moneyball?
No. I know literally who that is. I'm saying, who would that be in football?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But to me, to take a flyer on somebody like that, as well, the guy that was Billy Beane's guy that was doing all that, he was like a computer nerd in the background. Maybe we need to have we need to get a Jonah Hill on this team who can study and see who's actually worth the damn money. Who's like a no-name guy who doesn't get the accolades, who was like, but every time the guy played was great, that kind of thing. We really need to research this and do this right, because I'll be 64 in a couple of days. December. I'll be 64.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I ain't getting any younger. I'm not getting any freaking younger. And you know what? The last time I saw a championship for the Jets with Joe Willie Namath, and I was like 8.5 years old or something like that.
Wow.
Or did I? Yeah. So, I mean, I really want to see something. Now, everyone talks shit about Rex Ryan, but who's the only guy that got us to an AFC championship game 2 years in a row? ever in this team's history. Ever.
That'd be Rex. Yeah, that'd be Rex.
That would be Rex. And I want to make a point. And people who badmouth Rex and said he declined. Yeah, he declined because his owner fired his GM, and his owner put in Idzik, and Idzik sold everybody worth of shit. And Rex had nothing. He had nothing.
All right.
He had nothing. Plus a couple of bad picks. But, everybody makes a couple of bad picks.
We've all been
there. For every Lawrence Taylor, there's a Ryan Leaf.
That's true. That is true.
I think on the whole, Joe D did a good job. Up until last offseason, I was very unhappy with what he did last offseason. He got too cute. He didn't evaluate the talent enough. I think he thought that he could get this for this and this for that. But then when push came to shove, he got nothing for JFM. He let Huff walk. He counted on now. Thank God, McDonald worked out really good. But he was counting on McDonald and JJ to be the man. And then of course, the Jets curse. JJ gets hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, and Reddick doesn't show up until the season's pretty much lost. So, and I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, but it looks more like Zach Wilson tutored him than he tutored Zach Wilson, because he's slowed down. He's got wide open receivers and he don't throw the fucking ball. Yeah. And I keep saying to myself, am I really seeing? Am I in a black hole in an alternate reality? What the frig is going on with him? I just do not get it. It's like he's got happy feet.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers. He either throws a fast check down out of fear, or he holds the ball on a downfield fear. I think those couple of interceptions at the beginning of the year really rattled him. I think he got rattled by his own bad play.
Which stinks because, like I said, we thought Aaron Rodgers was going to solve all these problems. That was quite a historic call from EZ. Johnny Boy said, did we get a fashizzle and trade our picks for coordinator? Yes. Yes, both of those things happened during that call. Offensive line coach. A trade for an offensive line coach. I would just say this. I know there are some people that are burned by the Jets drafting quarterbacks and it not working out. Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold. I mean, go through the list. There are guys, you can find them. There's no doubt about it. It's hard to draft a first-round quarterback. It's difficult. There is a lot of bodies in the graveyard. But just because there's a lot of bodies shouldn't dissuade you from doing it. Just because the Jets haven't developed a quarterback like ever doesn't mean they never will. Doesn't mean you say, well, I guess we're not going to get one. To me, you need to draft a quarterback every year. It doesn't always have to be in the first round. But you need to draft a quarterback every year. Keep swinging. Because what the NFL is, if I could boil it down, it is the haves and the have-nots. The people that have their bellies are full. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Okay, you look at some of the top teams in the league. They have quarterbacks that they drafted in the first round. Kansas City, they drafted Patrick Mahomes in the first round. The Buffalo Bills, they drafted Josh Allen in the first round. The LA Chargers, they drafted Justin Herbert in the first round. The Green Bay Packers drafted Jordan Love in the first round. The Houston Texans drafted C.J. Stroud in the first round. The Baltimore Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson in the first round. The Washington Commanders, Jane Daniels, drafted in the first round. The Arizona Cardinals, first place in the NFC West, drafted Kyler Murray in the first round. Are you picking up the theme here on a lot of these top teams? There's some teams that have unique oddities. The Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. The Steelers have this veteran quarterback weird thing with him and Justin Fields. The Vikings get Sam Darnold, although they attempted to draft a quarterback in the first round with J.J. McCarthy. But for the most part, you look at the top 10 teams in the NFL, top 12 teams in the NFL, all of them drafted Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, first-round quarterback. All of these guys were drafted in the first round. They hit. It's not easy, but they hit. You must keep swinging. We got a YouTube super chat coming in from JR Jet Baby. Every time we get a super chat, my daughter Soraya Luna chimes in. Wow. What up, BG? Would love to trade one Aaron for another. What other Aaron are you talking about? I am open to interpretation. So interesting. I'd like to know who that Aaron is, but thank you for the super chat, JR Jet. And great avatar there. That's Jake Asman, baby. Great pick. Great pick. I like that. We got another shout out here. Member shout out. Let's go. Wow. He said exactly what I said. Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Jaden Daniels, not far between. Although I don't know if I would be championing Trevor Lawrence based on what I've seen, but I get the point. Again, to me, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be drafting first-round quarterbacks, and we'd all have quarterbacks. There'd be no quarterback scarcity. Every quarterback is great. You need the history says, 99% of history in the current NFL says you need to draft a quarterback in the first round and hit for it to work. Some teams, like I said, there's unique oddities that, not everyone is drafted a quarterback in the first round. Again, the Eagles got Jalen Hurts in the second round, but they had Carson Wentz in the first round. Like, you just go through history. That's what it is. There are outliers. Tom Brady's of the world. There was a 6th-round pick. There are outliers. But for the Dak Prescott, 4th-round pick, right? There are outliers where you find people in different rounds. But for the most part, it's first-round quarterbacks. And the Jets can't be afraid of their past to not get it again. That's how I feel about it. But, like I said, I like different opinions on the show. I like different conversations. But I would say that is it for the Jets. And a lot of people are burned, which is why they don't want quarterbacks. But you can't let that be the case. All those top quarterbacks are first-round draft picks. Easy says, before Arizona got Kyler Murray, they drafted Josh Rosen. Where the hell is he? Okay. You want to know what happened? The Cardinals drafted Josh Rosen with a top 10 pick. The very next year, they drafted Kyler Murray, which is like my point, Easy, is that you have to just keep swinging. You just keep swinging the axe. It's a shitty axe sound, but you get the point. You're just whack, whack, whack. You just keep whacking the tree until you get it right. That's it. That's the blunt truth. There are plenty of bodies. You can point to all kinds of bodies. All kinds of bodies you can point to. Failed first-round quarterbacks. But you see the ones, the champions, the warriors that are standing above the wreckage are successful first-round quarterbacks. You get them on rookie deals for dirt cheap, and then ultimately you have that team control of your guy that you home grew for the foreseeable future. For shizzle should be the next emoji. That's funny. Maybe so. Peyton Manning was the first overall pick. I mean, again, go through the list, people. You could find those, whatevers. But Microfox says you can't reach for one either. Remember Paxton Lynch, Christian Ponder. I mean, Jake Locker off the top of my head of random guys. Absolutely. You can't force it. It has to be right. The team has to believe. There has to be a belief from the team, the staff, the scouting staff, the organization in the guy. And when you hit and believe, things happen. The Bills traded up for Josh Allen. The Chiefs traded up for Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles traded up for Carson Wentz. Like the Lions or Rams traded up for Jared Goff. Like, of getting these massive leaps to get their guys. There has to be a belief. You have to get, again, that's why it's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. Okay. There's a lot of variables that have to go right. But that seems to be the most consistent path to success. But that's just one man's thoughts. Let's get another man's thoughts. Let's go FL Phil 98, baby, joining us here on the show. What's up, Pat? What's up, Phil?
How we doing today, Paul? It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to join your opinion on Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
I was going to bring it up actually a couple of weeks ago, but with everybody screaming for guys like Rex and Gruden, the last thing I want to do is have another conflict. I've really kind of had it with that.
Yeah.
I just think you're right. I think, here's a guy who, like I wrote in the comments, who knew Mike Tomlin, and anybody who says they did, they're full of shit. Okay. The guy was he was a linebackers coach. Then he was a defensive coordinator. When the Steelers hired him, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Right. And here we are almost 20 years later. And if he's not the best coach, he's the second best coach in football. Right. Maybe Andy Reid. Right. That's it. Those are the two guys. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to, if we could get a Pete Carroll or somebody like that, I understand the cachet and a guy who could just give him the keys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've reached a point in the league where like that, the retreads and the old ways, and, we keep talking about Bill Parcells. You know how I feel about the guy. He was the greatest. But, the world's different. It's just different. Players are different. The way the league is structured is different. I think Aaron Glenn is going to be able to relate to players extremely well. He comes from a time when there was not only success with the Jets, but now he's coming from a place of success. And yes, maybe he can bring some guys from Detroit with him, a winning culture.
Sure.
It seems like these guys, I've posted clips of Tomlin, straightening out a player. They have a way of doing it. Okay. You can't berate. You can't, call them out in a press conference, but you got to have some level of authority that they respect. And I think Aaron Glenn would bring that. So, again, I'm not saying, let's go get Aaron Glenn right now. I'm saying I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would understand that. I think it might be a good place to start rebuilding from. I still think there's quite a few good players on this team, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a complete rebuild. And I also think, as far as the quarterback stuff goes, I think if there's a quarterback out there that you really feel strongly about and you want to take him, I get that. But I think when you're in a situation like the Jets, I always feel like there's veteran quarterbacks around. 3 or 4 years ago, I would have signed Andy Dalton when we were done with Darnold.
Yeah.
I really wasn't crazy about the idea of drafting another quarterback because I thought the team was in a sort of a transition period anyway. Okay. Andy Dalton was available. Could have had him for a couple of years. I think he signed like 2 years, $8 million with the Saints, something like that. Okay.
Sure.
He was an adequate quarterback and a guy that I actually think if he had the right team at the right time, he might have been good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Okay. I think there's always guys out there, like the Trent Dilfers that have won, the Joe Flaccos that have won Super Bowls.
Brad Johnson. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So it is possible. But, I think a veteran quarterback right now might be the best way to go. I hope Aaron decides to leave because I don't want to be put in a situation of cutting him. I'm hoping he reads the handwriting. This just didn't work. It just didn't work. But anyway, I kind of jumped around a little bit. Essentially, I'd love to see Aaron Glenn. I would also love to see us bring back, like my buddy Terrence said, some of the guys that brought success to this team. I'd love to see Curtis Martin be a part of this team in whatever role he wants, to say, hey, we didn't always stink, guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Reminder, a constant reminder. I would love that.
Yep. All right. Okay. God bless you, Paul. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. Philium, gracing us with his knowledge and insights. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aaron Glenn. If that happened, I'd be like, all right. Okay. Here we go. And again, bringing back the old eras of winning ways, I think would be good as a reminder. Got a super chat from Easy. Easy's back, baby. Let's go.
Wow.
For Shizzle, let's get to it. How many first-round quarterback picks each year worked? Well, I don't know if I'll be able to find this, but let me see if I can just look up first-round quarterbacks by year. Oh, okay. Maybe that's a thing I can look up. Quarterback drafting history. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. This is a nice little list here. Thank you, drafthistory.com. All right, so it's too early to tell in this year's class. That doesn't seem fair. Let's go 2023. Even though that's too early, we'll tell. Bryce Young, obviously, he's not look good. C.J. Stroud, he looked good year one. Anthony Richardson, he's looking good right now. There's your first-round quarterbacks. Let's go back further. Kenny Pickett, disgusting. That quarterback class sucked. He was the only first-round quarterback that year. And we're talking about 2021. That entire quarterback class sucked. 2020, Joe Burrow, superstar. Tua, really good. Justin Herbert, superstar. Jordan Love, really good. Jalen Hurts, he's in the second round, but I'll mention him. Look at that class. That class was friggin' awesome. That class was awesome. Look at that. The first 5 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks, all starters in the league. That's pretty good. 2019, Kyler Murray, he's been really good. Daniel Jones, not good. Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul. Let's go 2018. Baker Mayfield has been one of the wildest first overall picks of all time. Very weird career arc, but he's playing very well right now. Sam Darnold's playing very well right now. Josh Allen is awesome. Josh Rosen sucks. Lamar Jackson's awesome. 4 of the 5, decent. And if we're talking about really, really good, we're talking about at least 2 of the 5s are superstars in the NFL. 2017, Trubisky, awful. Career backup. Patrick Mahomes, superstar. Deshaun Watson was a superstar, and then everything else has kind of unfolded from there. 2016, Jared Goff is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in football. Carson Wentz had a nice run. He was a near MVP one of those years. Paxton Lynch, terrible. Christian Hackenberg, I wish I could forget that. Okay, so that takes us back to like 2016. So, yes, easy. I will reiterate, there are plenty of bodies of people who are terrible. There's no question about it. But the ones that are successful, the teams that are successful in the NFL right friggin' now, are the ones that hit. We shouldn't be afraid of it. We shouldn't force it. We shouldn't be afraid of it. We shouldn't be afraid of it. I'm fine with a veteran if we find the right one. People tell me who that veteran is. I'm fine with all kinds of plans. And DZ might be right here. This is a transitional year. We take all our dead cap hit now, take our lumps, and then go in fresh for 2026. That would be tough. Another brutal year coming. That would be brutal. But, hey, you know what? That might be what the doctor ordered from that perspective. We'll squeeze one more call in to wrap up the show. We'll go to 3 siblings, baby. Jay here on the show. What's up, Jay?
Good. How you doing, Boy Green?
Hey, not too shabby. Thanks for calling in. Oh, we got you on mute. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Yep. Well, I guess not. Well, sorry about that, 3 siblings. Well, anywho, a fun show. Thanks to the 500 people who were watching the show. Like the video, hit subscribe, and thank you to all the new members that joined the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. You guys can join the Boy Green Coffee Club at any time. Feel free to do so. That is in the YouTube description down below. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. Take 2. We'll try to bring back on Jay. He had some phone problems there. Jay, you're back, baby. Yes,
hey,
loud and clear.
Boy Green? All right.
Hey, great.
Listen, just want to say a few things today.
Sure.
I hear a lot of the Jets fans scared and wary to draft a quarterback. Just because the Jets can't develop a quarterback doesn't mean we shouldn't draft a quarterback. Like, we have to get the right people in the room to develop a quarterback. I'm saying my thought process is, if we can get the top 2, Sanders and Cam, realistically, Boy Green, how many games do you think we're going to win?
Maybe one. If I'm being honest, it's maybe one more. And it would be at Jacksonville. The rest of them, the Bills are going to be tough. The Dolphins look like they're back. The NFC West teams they're competing for the NFC West, both the Seattle and the Rams. So you go through all those. I see the Jaguars with Mac Jones. I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see that. The rest I'm like, it looks rough.
Exactly. And I don't even know if Mac Jones is going to be there by the time we play them.
That's a good point.
Trevor.
Sure.
So, I see ourselves winning 1 more, maybe 2 more games. If we're down in the top 5 or under that, we need to draft a quarterback. We're not supposed to be in this position anyway. We have to think about our future. Now, I understand reaching for a quarterback. I do not want to reach for a quarterback. If we're at 8 or 9 or 10, unless we trade up, I do not want to draft a quarterback. But if we're at top 5 or under that, we need to draft a quarterback. Develop. If we bring Rodgers back, cool. Have a bridge quarterback in Tyrod Taylor.
Sure.
Like, I'm not going to let a 5th-round pick, Jordan Travis, dictate my future. We
Definitely
bring in people. Let's say we bring in Ben Johnson and the Lions assistant GM here. They're going to want to draft their quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, team is going to want to make their team. So we can feel a certain way about drafting 1st-round quarterbacks. They're coaching. They're coming in to win, to keep a job, to build a resume. And we need to hit a quarterback until we can find one, man.
That's it. Appreciate the call, Jay. Thanks, bro. And that's it. You have to keep swinging until you find it. Again, it doesn't always have to be the 1st round. It could be any round, but take it. And I am not being held hostage by Jordan Travis. I hope we can see Jordan Travis this year. I really do. Will we? No friggin' clue. with that injury at FILS. All right, folks, I got to head over to the radio station. If you'd like to continue to enjoy my coverage here, I'll be on the Score 1260 in Syracuse. I'm on Monday through Friday, 10 to 12. We don't just talk Jets. It's everything, NFL, all kinds of sports that we talk about, Jets, Giants, Bills, a little bit of everything. We will have Nick Faria on the radio today. If you guys want some extra Jets coverage, I'll be coming up at 10:30 this morning. I'll be talking with Nick. And Nick, of course, will join us tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for all the memberships. Thanks for supporting. Appreciate y'all. I'll do the Uncle Tio here. I don't know what that means still, but Uncle Tio, baby. There you go. Wherever you are, we'll pour one out for Uncle Tio. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the show. Take care. God bless. Let's go.